So is this organization currently looking for sponsorship or fundraising, that sort of type of activities?
We are, with the caveat that the IRS has not yet come through with our 501c3 status. They are a bit backlogged because they are a bit understaffed. I've talked to a couple people there, and they were very apologetic, and excuse me, very understanding of our plight and not being able to. I mean, we can take donations, but there's no tax advantage for the person donating. They're very, very apologetic and very understanding and working as quickly as they can, but they are very backlogged, and I understand that because honestly, at this point, so am I. Once our 501c3 is cleared by the IRS, we will be happy to take donations from anyone who has a sincere interest to help the trans community and to help provide support, free support for the trans community. And I think, one thing that we shouldn't discount, especially considering that the trans community is, for lack of nice flowery language, a very poor demographic. We are all kind of dirt effing poor. So many of us are hanging on the edge. Money is not always the best thing that you can give. If someone can give their time, if someone is willing to go through our training program to become a facilitator and is willing to give 2 hours a month or 4 hours a month facilitating support groups, that is a huge, huge help. That helps us reach more people and offer more support, offer more home and more family and more community to as many trans people as we can. And we will never discount the immense wealth that can be had emotionally and communally from volunteerism.
Right. Yeah, I kind of agree with you with that. So I'm blissful that I able to kind of learn and kind of put myself in an okay position. So if I'm when you're ready, I'm ready to sign up for that 2 hours a month for sure. I'm just gonna share my experience, and I'm in real estate. If there's anything I can provide or skill that I can share, I don't mind doing that.
That's lovely. Thank you so much.
Of course, yeah. And what about trans or non-binary youth? Do you have anything towards that program like that? Because I realize the newer generation, like Gen Zs and maybe small part of the late millennials, they are more identifying themselves as a non-binary, and I don't have kids, so I'm not too sure what's the school like for them right now. Do you know anything about that? And do you have programs towards more like a youth?
We do. We have, when we launch, we will have facilitators, and we'll be able to staff many different groups. We will have 3 different groups for different non-binary, third gender, and agender identities. We also have someone who's going through our training program now who will be offering a youth group, 18 and under. Actually, I think we're going up to 21. The numbers get a little twisted in my head, but it is correct on our website. And we are hoping to work with other organizations to be able to offer more support to the younger people in our community. I am hopeful that this is a good time to be. I know, considering the current political climate, it doesn't seem like it, but I'm hoping that this is a good time to be a young out trans person. I'm hoping that the visibility that we've built over so many years will make it easier for them to find the rest of us, find community, find happiness, find comfort with themselves and who they are. And I'm hoping that we can provide some small part of that at Patchwork through our youth support group, through the non-binary, the genderqueer, the gender fluid groups, and the agender groups. And hopefully with connections we're looking to make with other organizations, local and national, that have more services for young people and more capacity to work directly with young people that we may not be able to do at the moment.
Okay. Since you talk about current politic climax, there's a I'll say tiny group. I don't think it's a large group. It's a tiny group. The mainstream media call it the transitioning group. Heard of that, right? So I think so far that I seen nonprofit or advocates group, we kind of forgot about a group, like a small group like this, the transitioning. So I think that might be a group can start somehow, somewhere, because I'm not sure like everybody's reason for transitioning or circumstance is different. I'm sure that goes along with the transitioning. So I think they might need some resource, counseling, or supports. What do you think on that small group?
The best information we have is that the majority of the main reason that people detransition is either because it is medically necessary. There are some people who react poorly to hormone therapies. There are some people who have complications after gender affirming surgeries and are forced to detransition because of that. And because the other reason, major reason, because people are persecuted where they live. Children don't feel safe being out. Adults don't feel safe being out. People are fearful of losing their homes, their jobs, their families. And they make the decision that it is better to hide who they are until they're in a safer place to be out. The best information we have is that detransition is a very small part of the trans community, less than 2% at the last count.
Yeah.
But there are voices in the media who like to champion one or two people who want to make a very strong political statement against the entire trans community because of one or two stories that they will repeat, and they will twist, and they will repeat again. My experience in trans support groups is that we very often have people who have had a need to detransition. I can think of one woman in particular that I've known in a couple of different groups. She's come to a couple of different groups that I've run, who had when she chose to have a medical transition, she chose to start hormone therapy. And in the course of starting hormone therapy, something about the estrogen triggered an horrific response. And she only discovered that she had a genetic blood disorder because she went on estrogen, and she can never go on it again. And she had a difficult road ahead of her. She chose to detransition because she could not deal with the emotional strain of not being able to have the hormone therapy that she needed, that she felt she needed for herself, and that was necessary for her. And she went back into the closet. And years later, she wound up in a much healthier place. And even though she's not able to have hormone therapy, she is living out and proud and progressing through a transition that works for her. Not everybody who detransitions comes back to it. Some do, some don't. But they all need support. And even if you are not choosing or feeling compelled to have a medical or physical transition, you're still trans, and we still open our arms to you.
Yes, I agree with that very much, because to all people that we interview, or from my personal friends, everyone transition, it's actually start from inside, not dress up or anything. It all start become the journey from inside. So what you just said is, doesn't matter a person outside looking whatever or whoever they look, as long as their internal inside is thinking they're not aligned with their biological gender, then they're considered. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that we talk about in one of our groups in particular, which is not your typical support group. Our core group that everything in Patchwork started from is actually one is a deep listening circle, which is the best analogy I could give you is that it's kind of like Bible study for trans. There's obviously we're not studying the Bible, but we take one topic and we dive into it and we discuss we feel how that topic resonates with us and between us, and we explore it. And we have talked many times in deep listening circles about three basic phases of transition. There's the internal transition, which is coming to terms with who you are inside.
Right.
There is the local transition, telling friends and family. And then there is the outward transition when we come out to the world. Whether or not we decide to wear gender-affirming clothing or not, or change our bodies, or change the hormones that our bodies are running on, or just, I don't know, wear a unicorn with a trans flag hanging off of it, whatever makes you happy. Those are the three stages that we see: internal, local, and then external.
Yeah.
And each one is important.
Very well
There's
said.
no right way to do it, any of three of them.
Yes. And again, based on my own experience, some people can go through all three stages, or some just stop in, let's say, the middle one, which is okay too, due to family or job, whatnot. Yeah. So that's very good.
Some people come out at different times to different people.
Yes.
My wife was the first one I came out to when we were dating, as I said. My brother was the last person I came out to. I knew in my heart that he would accept me and he would still love me. I was scared to death that our relationship would change. And so he was the last one that I came out to, and it was the best reaction I could have ever hoped for.